Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We are talking Monday, May 19th. The Dong Report is back in your life. The way that I'm playing it today is I have three just straight up plays for you to lock in. And then I also have a Stinky Odds round robin, Stinky Odds Dong Robin is what we like to call it as well. Because there were a couple guys that I liked, but the odds were disgusting. So I threw them in a round robin for a little bit of a lighter unit size. But I am very confident in the plays that we have for today. I am very confident saying that the Dong Report is back in your life. Before we can get into those picks, let's do a recap from yesterday. And hey, we finally had a decent day. Now, we only got one of our four guys to hit a home run, but that one was at plus 1,000 odds. Thank you to Jackson Holiday for coming through with just a massive, nice, juicy dong, giving us a profit of 1.75 units on the Dong Report yesterday. I did go a little bit more long shot with Javi Baez. I don't think he even came close. Eugenio Suarez, I also don't think he came close. He wasn't long shot. He was plus 400. But Baez was, and then as was Jordan Beck at plus 800. He did not hit a home run, but he did hit the ball hard. So, hey, we were at least able to get that. But I will gladly take a day in which we were up 1.75 units, especially when you considered how rough it had been prior to that. On the entire season, still in the green, 4.12 units of profit, just below 8% ROI. So we have a couple more days like we had yesterday. We're going to get our ROI up into the 15 to 20% range, which is what I'm hoping that we end at this season. And then if you're just blindly putting one unit on every single home run, you're not messing with the round robin, you're not messing with my unit sizing of like a quarter unit, which is what I played all these guys yesterday, you're up 22 units. The most important thing is this ROI, just your return on whatever you're putting in. But I do like to kind of always show people, because it can be confusing just seeing like this tiny profit of 4 units with a slightly okay ROI. So I just like to show people what happened if you just put 1 unit on everything. Regardless, pretty happy with how things went yesterday. Let's hope that we can continue that today. As for the weather for today, as always, pulling up Ballpark Pal, I'm going to go through how I use them. So if you want to check them out, I put a link to them in the description of the video. Some really good games. This game here, Athletics and Angels. This game here, Rays and Astros. Some really gross games. It's freezing. I'm not freezing. It's cold in Boston, 48 degrees at Fenway. It's not a great game at Coors either, with it being chilly there as well. And then just some truly disgusting games down here at Target Field. It's already a hitter's, or not a hitter's park, heavy winds blowing in, and then same thing with Busch Stadium. So avoided these last 3 games, but some good games, and I am very confident in the plays that we have. So we can get into it. Play number 1. It's a guy that you probably know at this point because he's been amazing. It's Pete Crow-Armstrong. I am taking him to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 525 odds at Bet365. I send all my plays out through Tails, and for whatever reason, they don't pull odds on Bet365. So when I send it out, it's on DraftKings, but the best offered price is at Bet365 at 525. So go check them out. Check Bet365 out and lock that in if you can use them. So the thing with PCA is that he's incredible. He's an amazing center fielder, had like 2 sick catches on Saturday's game. And then yesterday, he did not hit a home run. He hit a ball 377 feet. It was the second farthest hit of the game. Just did not quite make it out of the ballpark, but it was a triple. Again, 377 feet, 106 miles per hour off the bat is truly nuked. Launch angle, 20 degrees, just gets that a little bit higher, and that bad boy's going to be a home run. But he had a triple, and then and then he also had a double yesterday as well. Wasn't hit quite as hard, and the launch angle was obviously nowhere close to what it needed to be, but a triple and a double in the same day is pretty good. That continues a pretty good stretch for Pete Crow-Armstrong, who, despite the fact that he's only 23, is having an insane year. You just look at his kind of numbers on a whole, right? I love to dig into the nitty-gritty and look at what they're doing recently, but you take a step back. ISO rate, 295. That is in the excellent category. That puts him among the tops of the MLB. Barrel rate, how frequently is he barreling the ball up? 14.3%. That's not amazing, but that's well within the range that we're looking for. As long as it's above 10%, that's good. 15% and above is even better, and he's just right below that. And the beauty of backing him to hit a home run, fly ball rate, 55%. Line drive rate, another 20%. He only hits a ground ball 25 roughly percent of the time. He pulls it a decent amount. So like he hits the ball in the air and he pulls it, which means you don't have to hit it as far for it to be a home run. All that stuff is perfect for Pete Crow-Armstrong. You look at his game log recently, not quite barreling the ball up at the same rate that he was back during this stretch when he was just getting multiple a game, but he's still good. Like you look at his last whatever games since May 11th, you see all those barrels since then. It's been probably, I don't know, 7 games, 4 barreled in that stretch, 9 hard hits in 7 games. That's really, really good. So all that stuff is great. From a weather perspective, this is the one game where it's not amazing. It is a -9. It's because it's being played at the Miami Marlins Park, which has a wide outfield. So this is going to be one of those games where he could hit a ball 390 feet and have it not be a home run. That could definitely happen. Slightly windy, but I don't think the wind really impacts the trajectory a ton. How receptive is the stadium to wind? Low. So, winds blowing in doesn't matter a ton, which is one thing I think is really cool about how Ballpark Pal models their weather is they tell you, yeah, it's windy, but is the stadium receptive to wind or not? So that's the only really negative for PCA. Looking at the pitching matchup, Edward Cabrera, he's not a super stinky dong ball pitcher or anything like that. He is slightly below average. Home run per 9, 1.53 is not good. It's not going to be the worst in the MLB. It's definitely not good. His same thing with like all his other advanced stats. Barrel rate allowed, 7.7%. It's below average. Hard hit rate, 44%, is below average. The biggest issue for him is that launch angle. He's letting guys put the ball in the air. As you can tell, his ground ball rate for a pitcher only being 65% is really, really low. So it's a pitcher, also that pull rate of 50% is very high. So it's a pitcher that allows guys to put the ball in the air at a pretty decent rate, going up against a guy in Pete Crow-Armstrong who puts the ball in the air at an elite rate. Ballpark Pal doesn't love the matchup. Admittedly, they have this as like a neutral, slightly in favor of the pitcher. For the young guys like PCA, when there's not a ton of data, I don't feel as bad about that. From a release point perspective, it's an A+ and then a B. But we see a lot of question marks here, right? Question marks, that's mostly against lefties, but question mark in terms of the release point. The pitch mix should be good for PCA. Cabrera throws a changeup. It's kind of interesting if it was a changeup the majority of the time. Guess who has an A+? We do have data on that. It's an A+. Four-seamers, not as good, but 2 pitches that aren't thrown well by Edward Cabrera. These two haven't seen each other. PCA, 3% more likely to hit a home run. Edward Cabrera, 1% more likely to allow a home run than the average pitcher. All that stuff doesn't scare me off the matchup at all. It's kind of what I'm saying here. And it's a really good hitter, really young hitter. So give me PCA, Pete Crow-Armstrong, as my first play. Again, plus 525 odds at Bet365. Next up, I'm taking Yoan Moncada. Let me know how to pronounce his name. I hate butchering people's names. I'm taking him to hit a home run. He is offered at a very nice, juicy price of plus 600. We're still able to get that price at DraftKings, also at Fanatics as well. Now, this was 480 at FanDuel, which made me feel good. They have come up on that a little bit at plus 560. But the biggest thing here, and he's one of these guys where I should have been on him earlier. You look at his recent game log, and he just started playing May 6th. Like, I'm not looking at any, actually, let me show you the entire season because he missed some time, I guess is actually what I'm saying. So he's played at the beginning of the year, got injured or called down, whatever happened on April 9th, came back on May 6th. Since that date, since May 6th, he's been hitting the ball incredibly hard. You look at that, I think it's 11 games. 8 barrels is very good. 14 hard hits is very good. That launch angle is very good. 3 very good numbers. And you look at total barrels over I'm looking at the last 14 days. He is third, tied with a bunch of guys who are raking. Ohtani is above him. Judge is above him. But Corbin Carroll, Kyle Stowers, Wyatt Langford all have 8 barrels, and they've all played in more games. Moncada, since May 6th, these guys are the last 14 days, which goes till technically May 4th, May 5th. So it's only a day or two, but still. So I worry that I'm a little bit too late on him. He's hit 3 home runs in the stretch. He did just hit a home run 3 days ago on the 16th, and then he went back to back his first 2 games when he came back from that injury. So this is one of those things where maybe I should have been on him earlier, but I really, really like the matchup, and I really, really like the way he's hitting, and I like plus 600, especially when you consider the ballpark, 31% more likely to have a home run hit than the average stadium at Suter Health Park. And you look at it, I mean, it's just phenomenal. The outfield is relatively, it's actually a little bit longer than normal, but there are winds blowing out of the stadium. And I believe that wind is more impactful at the stadium. It says it's a question mark, but based on the model and how they're predicting home runs, you would guess that wind does impact. And then all that stuff is very good. And the pitcher is going up against JT Ginn, young pitcher, 25 years old, not that great of a pitcher. I mean, he's only thrown 13 innings. Look at that home run per 9, 2.63. That is disgusting. I was talking about Edward Cabrera, how his numbers aren't terrible. This is what a terrible number looks like. A home run per 9 at 2.63 is gross. That's like basically me pitching out there. Barrel rate allowed 12% is disgusting. Hard hit rate above 50% is disgusting. Now that launch angle is low. I will admit that. The launch angle is low. It's because he is a sinker thrower. You go to JT Ginn. I'm looking at Game Day Insights, which is just like where I like to look at pitch mix and stuff. His numbers are horrible. I mean, all that stuff is really bad. And I'm looking, so for pitchers, I like to actually look at the last 5 starts, which is why you see the numbers are a little bit different here for JT Ginn than what they were when I showed you on Fangraphs. But the biggest thing I wanted to show you is his pitch mix, sinker. He throws a sinker literally 50% of the time. What do we know about a sinker that doesn't sink, that's rated F? We call that a stinker. And Moncada hits sinkers very well. You look at him, sinkers against right-handed pitching over the last month. It's not a big sample size, but he has hit a home run off of a sinker. Now, he hasn't done a ton of damage outside of that, but home run traveled 383 feet. That was just 3 days ago off of Dustin May. Also has 102.9, 104.7 that traveled 357 feet. Like pretty good numbers against the sinker that JT Ginn throws, and that sinker doesn't sink, it's a stinker. Now, JT Ginn is admittedly a little bit worse against lefties than he is against righties. You see that 3 of his home runs in only 6 innings pitched have been hit off of lefties. That's good for Moncada. Sorry, I was mixing up. He is a switch hitter, so that's good for him. We want that lefty versus righty matchup, Moncada versus JT Ginn. I was mixing him up with another player. So that is a benefit. That is a benefit. And for him, all 3 of his home runs have been hit off of right-handed pitching. Granted, he's only seen 10 plate appearances against lefties, 8 at-bats, so it's a tiny sample size, but all of his damage have come against righties. 3 doubles, 1 triple, all 3 of his home runs have come against righties. Just very, very good numbers for Moncada. So again, I'm worried that I'm coming on him a little bit too late. I phrased that horribly. I'm worried that I'm getting to him a little bit too late. That I think has been a little bit of the issue of the cold stretch that I've had with the Dong Report is I'm taking guys once their hot streak is already over. I'm waiting on too much of a sample of them getting hot, and then that streak is over. So hopefully that's not the case with Moncada. He had a good day at the plate yesterday. That is one thing that I did want to show you. You look at him yesterday, he had 3 hits that were considered hard hit, which just means 95 EV or above. The only one in the game that actually had 3 or more. In terms of the hit distance, none of them was phenomenal. He had a line out that was 326 feet traveled, a 21-degree launch angle. Just needed to hit that a little bit higher. But 100 EV is very good. And then the other 2, one of them was a double play ball, hit that into the ground, 107 EV, but at least he had 2 above 100. Then he had a single at 98. So 3 hits that were hit pretty hard, 2 above 100, 1 that was put in the air at a decent rate. So all that stuff lines up really well for Moncada, especially when you consider the weather. So that is our second play, Moncada plus 600 at DraftKings. And then the third and final pick of the video. Let's go with another guy on the Angels. Let's go with Matthew Lugo. So he is the right-hander that I was thinking about. I mixed up him and Moncada. But Matthew Lugo, young hitter for the Angels, only 24 years old, was just called up back on May 9th, May 10th. So I think he came in for Trout, who got hurt. Since May 10th, he's hit 3 home runs, similar to Moncada. His ISO rate at 520 is just ridiculous. All these numbers are ridiculous. I mean, he's obviously not going to keep up this pace. Of course not. But has been very, very good since he was called up. I mean, that's what, 7 games, 5 barrels in this stretch, 12 hard hits. Now, his percentages are amazing. 29% barrel rate, 70% hard hit rate. That's because he strikes out at a decent rate. So he's basically striking out or hitting the crap out of the baseball. From our perspective, that's fine. I'm not taking him anything other than hitting the ball very hard and hopefully clearing one over the fence. He's been phenomenal. He has only seen 2 sinkers, so it's a tiny, tiny, tiny sample size. I can only tell you what has actually happened. One of those sinkers was sent to the moon 421 feet off of Felix Bautista. So it's a sinker that doesn't sink, a stinker. It's another incredibly hot batter at the plate in Matthew Lugo. We don't have a ton of data on him. And if you look at the matchup on Ballpark Pal, question mark across the board, question marks, question marks, question marks. So, I mean, obviously it makes sense with a young pitcher and a young batter. So I'm not necessarily surprised off of that. There is another source that I look at to price players and their likelihood of hitting home runs. And he's rated very highly according to that source. So all in all, I think he's worth a sprinkle. And I forgot to give you the odds. Plus, I guess it's down to 800. 850 at DraftKings. So I got him at plus 900 at ESPN Bet. You can now only get him at plus 800 there, but you can get 850 at DraftKings. And FanDuel has it at 750. So I do like the example of FanDuel being pretty significantly lower on a player. It was felt a lot better when I got it at 900, but I still like it at plus 850. And that's the biggest thing. I wouldn't take him at plus 400 or plus 500. But yeah, plus 900 at plus 850, he's absolutely worth a sprinkle at that price. So those are my 3 straight plays. It's Matthew Lugo at a quarter unit. It's PCA, Pete Crow-Armstrong at a quarter unit. And it's Yoan, Moncada for a quarter unit. But I did promise a Stinky odds Dong Robin as well. And I do have 4 guys that are very stinky that I'm putting into a round robin. Shohei Ohtani is one at plus 172. It's disgusting. Eugenio Suarez is the second at plus 285. Now, him and Corbin Carroll were kind of hit. You could choose either one of them. I decided on Eugenio Suarez. So that's plays number 1 and 2. The third one is Cal Raleigh at a kind of reasonable plus 290. Still pretty stinky. And then the fourth one is Yandy Diaz at plus 330. So that is my 4-leg Dong Robin. The way that I am playing it, you see here, again, everything sent out to my Tails account if you're ever confused. The way that I'm playing it is I'm risking 0.6 units on the entirety of the round robin itself. So that is 0.1 unit by 2 multiplied times 2, which is how it's played on FanDuel, as you can kind of see on the screenshot here. And then I also put a tiny amount on a parlay of all 4 as well. So the total amount of units risked on this Dong Robin is 0.65. So we're still playing it relatively safe. The way that the odds go, if 2 of them, doesn't matter which 2, if 2 of them, it could be Ohtani and Suarez, the 2 stinkiest odds. If those 2 hit a home run, we are making money off of this endeavor on this Dong Robin. And you look at the odds here. I mean, all 4 below plus 400 is gross. 3 of them below plus 300 is gross. And then Diaz should not be plus 330. What I like about Diaz, his line drive rate his fly ball rate is very low. His line drive rate is high, and he hits the crap out of the baseball, hitting the ball incredibly hard, as are all 4 of these guys. You know, Raleigh had a cold streak. He's definitely come out of that now. He's been red hot at the plate. So that's how I'm playing today. The entirety of the Dong report are the 3 straight plays: Pete Crow-Armstrong, Moncada, Matthew Lugo, and then the stinky Dong Robin with Ohtani, Suarez, Cal Raleigh, and Yandy Diaz. The way that the math works out, I know for a fact if one of these guys hits a home run, the straight ones, we're profitable if nobody else does. So we could go 1 for 7. We're making money if one of these guys hits a home run. For the Dong Robin itself, if 1 guy or if 2 guys hit a home run, the Dong Robin is profitable, but it wouldn't make up for the losses here. So it kind of just depends on how everything goes. That's why I can't really tell you the math. I can only tell you the math of you just take the straight plays. We just get one of these guys to hit a home run, and we're good. We're up 5 units if all 3 of them does, which that would be very, very nice. But that's all we got for today. I am very confident in the Dong report for today. Check out Ballpark Pal. Check out my Tails account if you're interested. Link to both of those are in the description of the video as well as the pinned comment. Everybody make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.